Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Charleston Property Show. Today I'm driving to work, so I thought I'd show you what it's like to drive down Highway 41, down Reflectance, across Clements Ferry, and onto 526. That's a commute that a lot of you will take. You won't necessarily be going from Hugie to Clements Ferry, but you might be coming from Park West, 17 up the other way. I'll show you that in a map across Clements Ferry. So it'll be fun just to see what Highway 41's like. That's a really fun drive. That's one of the reasons I love living out here. You get to kind of relax and go into the country. So you'll see the opposite. I'm going from relaxing country into the work day. And then Clements Ferry, it's just about morning traffic time. But they just widened Clements Ferry, so it's a lot better. It's a lot better than it used to be. It used to be so annoying to drive to work at this time, but really it's not that bad at all, and you'll see that in this episode. So we're passing the post office here. This is Hugie's post office. And then right after the post office, or before, depending which way you're going, is the bridges at Seven Lakes. That's Community that we just looked at, and the home. I think I'm going to record a little drive-through of the whole neighborhood soon, so that'll be really fun. It's a really cool new neighborhood. It's one of those neighborhoods that when it popped up, you're like, oh my gosh, they're building a neighborhood out in Hugie. I cannot believe they're doing that, but it just shows you how much Charleston is growing. People are coming out in all directions, especially if you want a little bit of a bigger backyard. You want to be in a little bit more peaceful area that's not in the suburbs or in the city. The Bridges at Seven Lakes is a great community for that. And as you see, as we're going down Highway 41, this is that view you see when you're driving out of Hugie or into Hugie. You have just the forest on each side of you. I love living near the forest. The night sky is amazing because you don't have a lot of the city lights. You know you're kind of going to a more peaceful environment. But that's just how I roll. I used to live downtown, and I miss that just as well. Honestly, I hope one day to own a little house downtown for the weekends and then come home out in the country. I love both so much, and hopefully we'll get that done one day. That'll be really fun. Downtown Charleston is one of the, my opinion, one of the greatest cities in America. It's really amazing. So I really love living close to Greater Charleston so that I get to experience all the amenities of Charleston, but still get that country feel, because that's just how I roll. coming up on the turnoff to Reflectance, if you go left, you go to United, and United makes a big loop that I think I'll take you on later. So let's turn on to Reflectance. Reflectance is going to connect Highway 41 with Clements Ferry Road. And just down the road, we'll show you later on, there's a new Spinks gas station, which is really nice because there was no convenient gas stations for people living in this area, especially for me because I use a lot of my machinery out at the homestead. I use ethanol-free gas, so I had to drive all the way down into Mount Pleasant to the Walmart to get the gas, which really isn't a big deal because I'm shopping there all the time. But sometimes all you need is some good gas, and it's really nice to have that convenience over there. The Dollar General on the left also is another fairly new development. There was never any sort of convenience stores out here, and now at least have the Dollar General, so if you need something quick, you can get it. And you see the little sign for the Bridges at Seven Lakes community. It's 3.5 miles from here going the other way. And now we're on Clements Ferry. It goes a little bit more the other way to the bridge. We'll take that ride another day. But now let's just enjoy the road down Clements Ferry. We're going all the way across it to 526, and it'll give you an idea of what the traffic's like in the morning on Clements Ferry Road. As you guys can see here, they're starting to widen this part of the road. So this is the latest part of this widening project. They just started about maybe 6 months ago or so it'll take a while, but as you can see, for traffic wise, it really isn't making all that much difference. I'm not in any traffic, I'm just cruising along here. And now coming up on the left is a new development, a new shopping center. We finally have some sort of grocery store on Clements Ferry Road. It's the Publix, which is a great grocery store in my opinion. So now we can actually get groceries. On my way to work, I really didn't have any, or on my way back from work, I should say, I didn't really have any great shopping options as far as groceries go. I live my office is right on Ashley Phosphate and Rivers Avenue, right near that intersection. And the only thing that was there was really the Walmart. Now there's actually an Aldi's there, and that's very new. That's probably a year and a half old. So at least there's an Aldi's that has some good food over there. There was always Walmart, of course. It's just not my favorite place to pick up groceries, and it really wasn't all that convenient for me because I had to cross the intersection and come back. But now this Publix is great because on the way back, I can just take a ride into Publix, pick up what we need, and be on my way. So that's really nice to have that convenience. We have another little neighborhood, the Cove at Martins Creek, I think it's called. So these houses just popped up just in the last few years, I'd say, and it's filling up over here. And the widening project is continuing. We're just about to get to Jack Primus. That's where after we cross Jack Primus, then you'll see the widened version of the road. That's where the project was completed up till now. This is also, by the way, before that Spinks gas station that I'll show you later. There was no way to get gas. This was the closest gas to me unless I kept going down Highway 41. And there's a Harris Teeter down there. I'll show you that sometime. But this is generally where I got gas on my way home or on my way to work if I forgot to get it before I went home. And I still go there pretty often because honestly it's cheaper than Spinks. Spinks is really nice. I think you're paying for how nice of a gas station it is, which I often do just because it is very convenient. But I find that gas is a little bit cheaper at those two gas stations right there. So now we're seeing the widened version of Clements Ferry. You can see the little center here has all this nice landscaping done to it. And of course we still have commercial property for sale. Clements Ferry's got a long way to go. I hope it doesn't go too crazy because I don't want to just have the traffic like we already had a few years ago just because we have development. But that's how it goes. So for right now, we'll just enjoy the fact that we have a really nice, wide, brand new road. Not a ton of development on it, so I can get to work pretty fast. So I'm living in Hugie. I'm going to basically the center of North Charleston. I'm getting there in 30 or 35 minutes. And people don't realize you can get to North Charleston or Charleston in general that fast from Hugie. They think of it as being so far away. But when you're driving, it's all the same to me. 30 minutes is 30 minutes, whether you're coming from Somerville. Downtown's a little less, of course, than North Charleston, but you come from a Park West or Dunes West, then North Mount Pleasant, it's about 30 minutes or so. Might shave 5 minutes off of there. So it's still pretty convenient. I lived in, after college, I moved to Connecticut, New York area. So that's where I really saw what traffic is really like. I'm originally from New York. My parents lived there all their lives, and they moved back in 91. Showing my age, I was like 11 years old in 6th grade back then. So we moved to Somerville, which is another great community. That's grown tremendously since we moved there. And, that's where traffic, I remember just dying in traffic. You would hardly go anywhere. You'd be stuck in the Merritt or 95, and it was just normal to just be tons and tons of traffic. And Charleston's growing. There's a lot of places that do have a lot more traffic. I'll show you soon. We'll take a trip down 17, which has also been widened, but Mount Pleasant's growing so fast, it of course helped, but there's definitely still traffic on 17. West Ashley, there's tons of traffic in West Ashley. That's just the unfortunate truth about that area. That West Ashley is west of the Ashley River. We'll show you that on the map. So it really depends where you are. It really matters when you're leaving. I've noticed, obviously, in most places that's true. I say that because I remember living in Connecticut, it did matter, but for the most part, there was traffic all the time. And I think a lot of places in bigger cities, that's the way it is. I mean, it gets worse during those rush hours, but there's pretty much traffic constantly. And Charleston isn't there yet. If you leave at the right time, you can navigate it without too much traffic, and I think that's great. So a lot of us have those flexible schedules, and it allows us to do that. Alright, so we're getting close now. We're going to be turning onto 526. There's a lot of developments happening over in this area. My sister actually just moved to one. I'll show you in a minute. We'll take a little tour of that neighborhood. It's a fun little neighborhood. It has a dock. You can take your kayak onto the water. I'm actually really looking forward to taking advantage of that. I need to get my paddleboard up on these racks. So you can see here at Governor's Cay on the left, that's where she lives. That'll be a fun little tour. That's a brand new community over there. Beautiful houses. Her house is so nice. It's there's a lot of custom features in it. Not large lots, but the houses are very attractive. Alright, this is the on-ramp to 526. This is where, if there is some sort of traffic, you're going to start feeling it. This is, I'd say, if I were to guess, once a week I get stuck in some traffic here, but it's always because of an accident. There's never just traffic because there's a large congestion of people on 526. There's always some sort of incident that's happened. But people do speed on this road quite a bit, I've noticed. And then coming up is a paper mill, the North Charleston paper mill. North Charleston used to be kind of infamous for the smell of the paper mill, because it has that sulfury smell. But they've since installed a lot of devices or technology to dramatically reduce that smell, so you really don't notice it. Once in a while you will smell it a little bit, but it's a lot better than it used to be. So I really wouldn't say it's a deterrent for North Charleston anymore, because they've done a lot to mitigate that issue. by the way, we were just crossing the Wando River. So we're on the other side of the Wando. And now if you took a right here in North Red, you'd be actually going technically into North Charleston. North Red Avenue is one of the bigger roads out in North Charleston. We're going to keep on going down to I-26, which is how I get into the area of North Charleston where my office is. Here on the right is Rivers Avenue. You can get to pretty much anywhere you want in North Charleston through Rivers Avenue. Before I-26, that's how everyone got downtown. From Rivers Avenue, you can actually drive all the way into downtown Charleston from Rivers Avenue. And I forget how long it goes. Highway 52 actually goes far out of the state, and it's a very long road. I think you can get all the way into Virginia following Highway 52. But we're going to go here on I-26 since this is the faster way to get there, unless there's traffic. But it's nice to know there's multiple ways. If there is really bad traffic on I-26, which of course there often is, then you can take Rivers Avenue, and it pretty much parallels this portion of I-26. This is my least favorite part of this road. You have to turn into a lot of other lanes to get merged left a few times. You actually don't have to. You could just merge once or twice. But I don't want to sit in the slow lane the entire trip. Kind of take it slow because I want you guys to get a feel of this road. There's Ross Printing on the right, good friend of mine, Jeremy Ross. If you ever have any printing needs, I'd highly recommend him. He does a great job. Also in our same plaza is Rise Above Signs. He's one of our clients. He does any type of business signage you need. He does a really good job. Okay, we're coming up a little bit on the exit to Ashley Phosphate, that's where we'll end this trip for you guys. Ashley Phosphate is one of the main roads that crosses North Charleston, so you can it allows you to go from 526 all the way to Dorchester Road. So it's a very busy road, of course, because a lot of people need to make that trek across North Charleston. And we'll show you that on the map. As you can see, I could have stayed for the most part in this lane, because this is the lane I'm getting off of anyway. This is also the exit to get to Trident Technical College. It's one of the big community colleges in Charleston. They have some great programs there. I think it's one of the largest. We'll check out those stats. At least in Charleston. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but on the right is Master Studios, owned by Yana Grest. He's my teacher. I do some Tai Chi and Kung Fu over there. Master Studios is all over the place. There's a North Charleston, Somerville, Mount Pleasant school there. I highly recommend them. If your kid is into martial arts or you're into it, so some great teachers there. Huge amount of integrity, high quality. Okay guys, we're coming up in Ashley Phosphate. This is where I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm on to work. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time.